If you want to learn a second language, meaning Spanish, French, German, any of the European languages, listen to my way of learning. First thing, you got to have an iPhone or iTouch, iPad, but I recommend at least an iPhone because you can carry it with you. As far as the other phones go, Samsung and all that, I'm not sure. What influenced me first to learning a language is when I went to Costa Rica and I was frustrated because I wasn't able to speak and understand too well. And when I came back, I decided to learn Spanish. And the first thing I did was I looked up, online, and I checked out Rosetta Stone, and then I realized I couldn't sit in front of a screen all day. So I looked into it and looked into the products that Apple had to offer. And at the time, I only had iTouch. So then I checked out all the apps that was available for free. First thing, what I learned to do is to learn the very basic words. At the time, I didn't know I had no understanding of Spanish at all. So what I did is I started out with the basics. And with the basics, I started playing the very basic games, the very beginning, meaning the first, most important words. So in this case, this app right here is called Spanish Dictionary. It's excellent. It's free, and it actually helped me learn a lot of words. So every day there's a daily word that's given to you, and then you pretty much learn a word a day, and was very helpful. I started playing this word game. So with that, it was very basic Spanish, and I just kept playing it over and over again until I got 100% right. Then what I did is I started playing all these other games that were also free, and one of them, which I really enjoy, this is actually in French, because right now I'm learning French, and this one's very good, the 24/7 app. It's free. It gives you very basic words. So what you got to do is you got to play along with it until you're able to write everything and have a very smooth way of knowing each word. And then also this game right here, Memory Words, is also very good. It's actually free. You can learn a lot of words this way. And this essential one is also French. And then this game by Mind Snacks, which I also helped me a lot. It was actually a really fun game, and actually that's the way I'm learning French. So I would highly recommend these. These are all free. And then and Duolingo. Duolingo is actually really good. I think it's for people a little bit more advanced. So if you're learning the very, very beginning, I would recommend going with these apps. Now, after I started playing with those apps, and I started actually doing it daily, and and the fact is, in my opinion, actually, Spanish and French are the two easiest languages to learn. It's because they're more accessible. The reason they're more accessible, as far as I'm actually, because I live in the United States, I live in New Jersey. We have a big Hispanic population, so it's actually very accessible. Because wherever you go, you could go to a store, and there's a lot of times there's things written in Spanish as well as in English. If you turn on your cable TV, you could see a lot of Spanish channels. And what I did is I started watching it, listening to it. I started browsing through the channels and just checking it out. I have a Latino HBO, Spanish HBO. So a lot of times they play movies that you already seen before. And what I do is I would watch the movie, and I would have the subtitles on, and so you could pretty much follow along what they're saying, what they're doing, and there's times where you may not know what they're saying. So what you do is you have your iPhone ready, and then you put in your Spanish dictionary, and then if there's a word they constantly repeat, you just kind of put it in there, and then just save it, and then you look back at it for later, and then when you hear it frequently, you'll see how it's used, and then you'll be able to you'll start remembering it. So what I would recommend, if if you have some DVDs sitting around your house that you haven't watched in a long time, what you could do is you could go through your DVD collection, your favorite movies, and then what you could do is go to a language section, and then you could put on in the beginning you could put on English subtitles and watch it in Spanish speaking, or you could put it vice versa. So then you could you could generally have an idea what they're saying, And in the beginning, you're not gonna really know what they're saying, but you're gonna hear these words constantly, and eventually these words are gonna like settle into your brain, and it's kind of it's all gonna kind of come together because once you're listening, once you're memorizing all these words with the games, eventually it's gonna become kind of natural, and then and when you're practicing this, you gotta also speak it out loud, and then what I would recommend also is to listen to the radio. So instead of listening to your typical American radio that's on the air, there's plenty of apps. Like if you don't have a Spanish station at home, wherever you live, you could put on your app for your iPhone or whatever, your smartphone, and you could put on radio stations from all over the world. In fact, I like some stations from Costa Rica, but you could put on whatever. You could listen to like romantic music, Spanish romantic music, because they tend to sing a little slower, and pretty much the theme is similar, and just listen to it, and they'll constantly repeat the same songs, and then once in a while you'll get familiar with it. So you just gotta constantly listen to it. You could watch TV. You can make it entertaining. You don't have to actually study so much. You don't have to like learn all these rules that are taught to you by books and such. Because all you gotta do is like hear it and repeat it and try to pronounce, and you gotta like really try to pronounce the words and really dedicate yourself to doing this daily. It's not like a thing you could just do one day and then next week you follow up, because that's why like I couldn't learn anything in school before, because it was only like once a few times I would just learn for that 1 hour, go home, do the homework, forget everything, come back and still not absorb anything. They're still stuck on the same basic words. But if you constantly hear people speaking it, you just gotta kind of copy it, and you're gonna get it. And the reason it's better, if you try to learn Spanish or French, is because like on any DVD you're gonna look at, especially if you live here in the United States, you could see on the back, you'll see French or Spanish subtitles or Spanish or French language talking over. So use those features, because I guess we have that because we have a lot of Spanish speaking people here, and also I guess Canada, the DVDs they get, it goes up to Quebec there, so that's why it has French there. And once you learn your first language, once you start speaking it, the second language is going to come easier, and especially with French or Italian or any of the Romance languages, because they have their similarities with the Latin language. So once you start learning French, you're going to be able to understand the other languages, for instance, like Portuguese and Italian. Even though I don't speak Portuguese or Italian, I could speak Spanish, and by listening to how they speak, more or less I could understand what they're saying, and still know what's going on. So it's actually really nice, because right now, if I turn on, if you're in a restaurant eating in an Italian restaurant and you're hearing some Spanish music or Italian opera, you could understand what they're saying. It's actually really nice. Okay, so those are my 3 things: apps, TV, radio, practice daily, think of the language, and before you know it, you're going to be speaking. And you don't need to go to any school. You don't need to have to pay. You could just maybe spend the $5 on the apps or whatever, on some of those other apps. Just keep playing those games. Make it fun. Don't stress yourself too much. Just constantly just do it while you're sitting on the couch instead of playing Bejeweled or some other game. If you're sitting on the train, play your games. If you're waiting for a bus or if you're on your lunch break, instead of just checking out Facebook, just constantly play your games. Do it on a daily basis, and watch Spanish news. And if you want French, subscribe to TV 5 Monde and just watch the news daily, watch the movies, and also remember, put on the subtitles, read. You got to constantly read. And then also you could even watch, I would suggest read very basic books, for children. Read children's books, read read. You could watch Plaza Sesamo. You could all that stuff, and it's all free. It's on TV. So just watch it, and before you know it, it's so easy and it's fun to learn. And you're gonna really you're gonna feel really good about yourself because a week before the lesson you didn't know this word, and then in a couple of weeks you actually know what it is, and it's like revealing a new puzzle. So try learning language is really fun because you could speak to so many more people around the world. You could travel to so many countries, especially Spanish-speaking countries. There's so many of them out there. So if you go to Dominican Republic or Colombia or Mexico or any of these countries, you're not going to get lost, and it's so much easier to get around. You could communicate more. You can understand what's going on. You don't have to always say, "Oh, what did he say? Oh, do you speak English?" And you can't expect everyone to speak English. It's like that's their language, and they're not. You're just gonna have trouble getting around. So I would definitely recommend it, especially if you love traveling, if you like meeting new people, if you like listening to salsa music, or if you like dancing bachata. It's so much nicer when you know what they're singing about rather than just a bunch of words and just a beat, and you're feeling left out, honestly. So I recommend it, and yep, that's my share on this. Thank you for watching.